estate investing really make you rich? Let's talk about it. All right. Because everyone's talking about wanting to be rich and all that stuff. And we need to define it. We need to actually understand the process and really be transparent about our wealth and how we grow it and how we create it, right? So today's video is about discussing, can real estate investing really make you rich? All right. So let's talk about it. Who am I? I am the Jackie Jackson, real estate investor extraordinaire and creator of Tax Deed Genius, an 8-week online course teaching you, new and seasoned investors, about how to invest in tax liens and tax deeds. All right. So that's about me. You can read all about me, research me, click on all my buttons and all that stuff by going to www.thejackyjackson.com. I'm the only one on the internet with THE, meaning me, the Jackie Jackson online. So have at it. So can real estate investing really make you rich? Well, the answer is yes, it can. Now you'd be like, okay, duh, Jackie, I knew that. But many people know it, but they don't really know it. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't really understand the intricacies of what it really means to grow your wealth for real estate. So the reason why I became a real estate investor is because it was a unique way for me to create the wealth that I set out on my goals and implement some really creative strategies that did not require a lot of money out of my pocket to start. Now, some people purchase their real estate in a different way, you know, putting a down payment down, or maybe they may be borrowing money from their local bank or their local credit union or whoever they're getting their funds from to get their mortgage. That's one way how to do it. When I started out investing in real estate, that was the first way, the first method that I chose to invest in my first property. Okay. So from that first property, every other property after that, I did not borrow any money from a bank. I just didn't. I just did not do that. Right. So I found all of the other creative real estate investing strategies, and I wanted to make sure that I was well versed in them so that I did not have to I didn't have to use my personal credit. I didn't have to leverage or borrow any money against any properties if I didn't have to. I just didn't have to put myself out there like that. I just really wanted to just low key implement these strategies and just benefit from appreciation of them, and then benefit from going in at a low entry point that met my particular budget, right? So the cool thing about real estate investing is that that opportunity still exists today. Even in 2021, you can still purchase properties creatively. And I actually think that even more so now, so there's a lot of talk about scarcity. There's a lot of talk about not having opportunity, a lot of talk about seller's market and being priced out and not having, enough money to get these, and properties are selling for more than their value. I get it. That is happening, that is a thing, but that's only relevant for those who want to buy properties in retail. If you're not interested in buying properties retail, then it's not really applicable to you. If you're not interested in competing for properties in that way, right? So why make that be your problem? So you want to invest in real estate by maximizing all of the creative strategies that does not require you to compete against people who want to buy houses for their primary residence or anything like that. That's a whole different type of strategy. You want to be able to purchase properties that need fixing up. Matter of fact, properties that are unfinanceable. Those are the ones that I buy. The bank doesn't even want to finance it, right? Those are the best deals. Why? Because you get to add value to them and increase their value, and now you've increased your net worth, right? So you've acquired them pennies on the dollar, right, compared to their market value, like a fraction of their market value, and now you get to infuse additional value and increase your net worth by having those properties skyrocket. So that is buying low, right, and selling high in the event that you ever want to sell it, or maybe you just keep on holding on to your properties long term and cash flowing them with whatever exit strategy that you think is the best for you. All right. So I'm going to give you a perfect example. So one of my students, they're purchasing, they specialize, and I taught them how to do this. They prefer to specialize in purchasing properties off of the land forfeited for their taxes, right? So in some states, it's called lands available or land forfeited for taxes. It just depends on your state, USA, what they call it. But these are properties that went to the auction already, and they just were not purchased, right? So they're available as a first come, first serve basis on the county's website. And then you could just look up those properties and on their list, download the list, look at the properties, do your research, of course, your due diligence, and then just purchase them directly from the county. So that's what this student prefers to do, right? So they don't really go to the auctions or anything like that. They just want to do lands available only. So that's cool. So like 7 properties later, right, of buying, strategically looking, I think it may have taken her maybe like 9 months, because she did it intermittently whenever she had time. She did her research, so it wasn't really like an aggressive process. It was just based off of her availability and what was happening in her family and in her world at the time. But she purchased like 7 properties over time. So when we added up the retail value of each of those properties, like the actual market value, we did our comps, compared what the properties were selling for in that neighborhood compared to the type of property that she purchased. And then we made a list of the values of all of those properties compared to her actual expenses, right? Her liabilities, basically all the people that she owed. So what we did, we created a actual net worth, right? So we listed everything that she owed, meaning all of her debts and obligations, and then we listed all of her assets, things that had value. So that number, the difference between the two, what you owe and how much assets that you have that have real value, that is called your net worth. So if you've never done your net worth before, that's a great way. Just really simple. You can do it on a napkin. It's not really that complicated. Just do your net worth so you know where you're starting from, what your starting point is. And by the time we did all of that, like her net worth was $250,000. And I was like, girl, girl, did you know that you increased your net worth by $250,000 like in 1 year? Just keep doing what you're doing. How many times do you need to do that to meet your financial goals, right? It just wash, rinse, repeat, wash, rinse, repeat. You find a niche, you find a special process that works for you, and you just keep doing it until you just max it out, right? You go for the goal. And it's really that simple, you guys. Like, I know there's other ways, obviously, for you to increase your net worth, right? Because rich is like relative to each person. And to be honest with you, rich just means like the actual definition of rich, not this American dream stuff that they be selling online, but the actual definition, if you've never looked it up, is called being like abundantly supplied, right? Just having more than enough. So as long as your cash flow coming in exceeds or is more than your cash flow going out, yeah, pretty darn wealthy, my peoples, right? So you're pretty really caught up on your stuff. So you don't have to have yachts and mansions and, all that stuff. That's cool if you got it, but that's not the definition of rich. Rich is having more coming in than you got going out. And then wealth is the accumulation of that money's coming in, right? You stockpile it a bit, and that's how you become wealthy, right? That's a whole different thing. But my point here is, can you get rich? Can you have more money's coming in than you have going out, than your expenses? The answer is absolutely yes. And you can definitely do that with real estate, creative real estate investing. The strategy that I love is tax liens and tax deeds, because you're only dealing with the delinquent taxes for that property. And that is what you are like negotiating and working with, whether it's at the auction or whatever, right? So even if the auction and you're competing with another investor and you and that person want the same property, you're still starting with whatever the delinquent taxes are on that property at the time for the auction. So, let the best bidder win, whoever is willing to pay the most, I suppose. But it's a great way for you to start, as opposed to any other investing strategies. So I love it. Anyway, so hopefully that answers all you guys questions, like, can you really make it, as an investor? Can you really do this? And the answer is, yeah, you absolutely can. If I can do it, a single mom, 2 kids, and had a whole lot of life go on, started in a deficit, negative, everything. It wasn't like all roses, I guess, in the beginning, and I could overcome that. You can definitely do it too. All right. So thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Click your notification, and so you could be notified when I post a new video. And if you want to contact me, you want to learn more about the course, you want to enroll in the course, just go to thejackyjackson.com, and you can always book a consultation, or you can enroll directly in the course and join the Tax Deed family, where you get all the information about how you can be successful as a real estate investor, investing in tax liens and tax deeds all across the country in all 50 states of the United States. All right. Enjoy the rest of your week, you guys, and I will talk to y'all soon. All right. Take care.